So what you will see today, probably I can tell, and I will talk about it a bit later on during my second part, that imagine I'm standing there in 2001, I'm showing you that kind of phone, and I'm telling you that in 7 years, in 2007, there will be a phones which will have a touch screens and no buttons anymore. So you are one of the first people who hear that in Slovenia, directly from the person who touched technology for the last 13 years. So I'm in this for the last 13 years. So it's a pleasure for me to be there as a pioneer of this technology, and I hope that you will understand how important it is, and then during the day you will understand what we can do, how we can change this preventive health care model. Where I come from Lithuania, and we have really interesting laws for prevention, and even we have studies which preventive healthcare, which means that we have a first country in the world which has a doctoral degree in the preventive medicine. So, and in my opinion, in the future, most of the healthcare should be preventative, because if you can look into your blood or any other bioparameters and say that you will have certain disease in the future, certain outcomes, bad outcomes in the future, and you can prevent them, that should be our investment, our most investment, and not when you already have arthritis or other diseases which you can only fight the consequences and not the cause. Usually I ask a really simple question, and I asked you before that, so how many of you had a workout today? And probably 10% of you, yeah, so you can raise a hand if you had a workout today? You had? Or you, and yeah, it's weird, okay. And how many of you could have the workout? Probably all of you. You don't have a bad leg or you're healthy basically. So it's the same with that kind of concept who is coming, and you have to start thinking consciously and start thinking how the mediconomics is the economy of the medicine will change in the future. And look at this possibility that in the future you will have a testing which is available for everyone from home, and you are testing each and everything what you need to look at your situation, and then you're making decision based on that situation, not on when you already feel the consequences of your lifestyle. And also related to my second talk, I always ask one question: do you think that what you eat impacts your long-term health? And how many people think that it's only genetics and no matter what you eat will be okay with you? Do you have such? Oh, it's great. It's probably the first country in the world when we agree on that. Because if there was someone who is telling me that no, you eat whatever you want and you'll be okay, that's not the truth. And we'll have a really great speaker, Emily, who will speak about that it's important to take something inside in order to maintain the health. I have a really good question for those who don't agree with me that food is important. Try really extreme diet. Vodka and buns for 2 weeks, and you'll understand that food is really important, okay? So let's dive into the subject then, and a bit of, great thoughts that even Albert Einstein said that we can simplify everything, but not to make it really simple, simpler, which means that the technology which I present today, it's really next year generation of technology in mediconomics and in preventive healthcare, but it's actually very old. So if you look even more than 2,000 years ago, already it was practiced, of course, in other cause, and it you don't see, but it's bone mark burials in where royal families performing the taking of the blood in order to heal. And you probably know that in Middle Ages that was kind of also rituals. But if you look only 110 years ago, that was when the first time this was introduced by a famous Norwegian chemist, Christian Bank, and he developed a way how to analyze from the dry blood spot or the on the glucose filter on the card made from cellulose, how to determine glucose. But every one of you, by the way, every one of you, if you burn later than 1970s, you already performed one dry blood spot test. And you will tell, what kind of dry blood spot I had? Yes, you had. When you burn, so Robert Guthrie developed the phenylketonuria test, and it is taken from the newborns from the heel. And if your mom, you know that it's been tested, and it's really well-known test. So this technology is really for a long period of time already there. Question is what we can do with it, and why it's so great. So first of all, you take a small amount of blood and you put on a special paper, which has a special quality and ability to absorb a certain amount of blood or fluids. And then the filter paper is dried, and then you can transport it to whatever country you want safely. You cannot do that with the regular blood because you have to have so-called cold chain. You have to put blood into the ice. You have to, and the transportation is extremely high. For example, if in a country is one, but if you want to send something, for example, like organs, it's the same cold chain. So it can cost me thousands of euros to do that. Okay. So the same with the blood. If it's dried, it's really simple. And also a lot of advantages. It's a very small volume needed, so it's only one spot. One more thing is really important. For example, in Africa, what's going on in Africa? This dry blood spot technology is used to analyze HIV and other transmitted diseases. Once it's dried, it's not anymore contaminated. So we can officially send those by the regular mail without contamination. So when dry blood spot is dried, that's it. You can touch it, even if it's a really high bacteria risk. It's binded in a paper, and you will not be able to get those diseases. It's very easy, economical. I can send the test to home. For example, if you want, you can do a mass population screening. You can send 100,000 of tests to everyone because it's so simple. You should not require any knowledge of the medicine. You can just have it, and you will get it back, and you can have a huge population screening. And one more thing, it can be conserved for a real long period of time, which means that, let's say for a fatty acid, you can send the letter, and if it will come even in a 30 or 35 or 40 days, you will still be able to analyze and to get the result. Yeah, I will explain how if you have. So basically, but it will be later on. And as of now, there is only a couple of analyses which you can already do with dry blood spot. So today we will concentrate on the fatty acids because that's today's theme. But imagine what you can do in the future with that kind of collection. So you can have what I said about the touchscreen and about the iPhone, that you can have let's say 5 or 6 or 10 tests at home, and you're testing yourself every 4 weeks or every 3 months if you don't have any problems. And then you have your profile always on the go. You know what's happening with your biochemistry, and you can make decisions based on that without going out to the polyclinics or to another place to make the test. Another advantage of the dry blood spot is the time. So for example, if I would like to go to any lab today in Ljubljana, so if it's not traffic, probably it will take for me 20 minutes probably or 30 minutes to go there, and I have to park the car, and in the center, if it's quite tough to park the car, and then I probably have to wait 20-30 minutes to the lab and then go back. So it's 1.5 hour probably I'll spend just to give the blood. In this case, at home, imagine future that you just break the finger, you send it, and you have a totally new meta-economics birth there. So it will be, it should be, and everyone understands, it should be more prevention than reaction to what's already there. So I have a joke about some medical systems. I don't know how it's in Slovenia. Probably you have a really great public medical system, and when you ask the doctor, you can go there immediately. Yes, yes. But in some countries, if you want to go to cardiologist, you have to wait 1 month, 2 months, and so on and so on. So we have a joke, for example, when I worked in Poland, they said, yeah, we have a great system, but there's a joke about them. So if you want to go to the regular doctor, which is not from private, and you say, you know, I would like to go to cardiologist, you say yes. We have a free date on 2026, February 5th. Can you be there today? And the guy is telling, no, it's morning or evening. I said, what's the matter? It's 2026, it's like 3 years from now. And he's telling, in the morning I'm going to the dentist, yes. So that kind of, in some cases, probably you don't face that, but in some areas where I talk in Europe, they face that kind of problem because you cannot go there immediately, let's say. So this kind of system can prevent you from that, and that's what I represent, and that's what I'm trying to do in different countries. We are working with a leading lab in this area, and is Vitas. It's located in Oslo, that's Norway, and they have, I think that they are top-notch, top one lab in the world in the dry blood spot. They are founded in 1994, 3 people, the person, and it's located in a really nice area. If you will be in Oslo, and you would like to visit them, it is possible to do that if you want to. But they are running fully automated global dry blood spot services, and this is, in my opinion, the best place to talk about. I mean that Vitas itself. They are located in Oslo Innovation Park. That's how they look like. That's from inside. But the interesting part is that everything what they do, they have automated. So the humans, there are nearly 2 times more robots than humans in this lab, and they are capable of running really huge amounts of tests. So as of today, if you, let's say, you will have any project or you will test 10,000 people this week, you send them, and in 1 week they will do that for you, that analysis with ease. So this is the capability no lab has today in the world. So that's the only one. And that's why I want to talk about them and to explain all the technology behind it, what they run, and how it will look in the future. Because in order to change the economic, you have to prepare the infrastructure for that. So this is the one of the part of the infrastructure we are working. So the tests are performed from those cards with such a robots, and they are fully automated. So this is the gas chromatography stations, and this is how they look inside. They have a lot of customers from all around the world, and they are very well known. So like King's College, like BUS, like Oxford University, and you can see. So they are third-party labs. So they are serving a lot of customers around the world, and main of their activity is a contract research. So as we talked earlier, compared to the regular blood taking for analysis, GBS has one more advantage, because particularly speaking about fatty acid analysis, which is our topic today, it's a bit different when you talk about not only taking the blood and go get one spot and a lot of blood from the vein, but also what we can extract from that spot. And this is really interesting statistic for you to understand. So if you guess how many molecules we have in one blood of spot, do you have any idea? How many? How many molecules? Just name it, the number. 1 million, 2 million, 3 millions, 1 billion? Huh? 1 billion, 1 billion molecules. Any other guess? Okay, two. Okay, two. No, so it's really interesting. So now look what's the number. It's 10 in 20. So what kind of big number is that? That's that kind of number. That's how many molecules we have in one drop blood spot. Yeah? The interesting statistic next is what that you have sand grains in the hair 10 18th and stars in universe you have only 10 in 20 seconds. So to make the analysis in one blood spot is the same as to look for the needles in a haystack. You have to really have advanced technology, and this is really hard. And Vitas worked in that area for more than 30 years, and they developed the methods which are used right now as a gold standard all around the world. So they are, let's say, there are some labs which are participating in the creating the certain, let's say, all other labs are checking the concentrations of their analysis with certain labs. So Vitas is one of the few labs where other labs are checking, that Vitas is sending the results and other labs are checking by this gold standard what we have. So it's really important to understand before we jump into some details. So let's get back to blood plasma and red blood cells. When you take the blood from vein or the dry blood spot, you will have blood plasma and red blood cells. And the difference is really simple to understand how this analysis works. Red blood cells are made in bone marrow, and they are present in your blood flow for around 4 months. That's 120 days. And also they make up to 25% of the cells in your body. And the very important thing that each second, not each minute, each second, 2 million RBCs are born and 2 million are dead. So 2 million in, 2 million out. So while I speak, we already lost 5 million. No, more, 10 million, already 20 million probably, yes? Each of you. In, out. So it's really important to understand when I will talk later on why is the difference between having, let's say, omega-3 index from plasma and from red blood cells. Red blood cells, as any cell, their cell membrane is made out of fatty acids, DHA, EPA, AA. Emily will talk a bit much deeper about those fatty acids later on, so I'll not get into it, but they are phospholipids, and those phospholipids are our cell membranes all over the body are made of those phospholipids. And when you take any supplement, omega-3 with a concentration and good antioxidants, your omega-3 goes in the blood flow, goes through the heart, pumps into your other cell plates, building blocks on the all organs and all the body. For you to know, and probably you know that our brain also mainly consists of the fats. So 30%, if you look, the brain is made of the fat. So probably knowing where you are is super important. Because if you are lacking fats in your brain, you most probably lack not only fats but something more in your brain, yes? Okay. So the idea of measuring it in red blood cells is really simple. So when you take the omega or when you eat fatty fish, by the way, fatty fish should be not overheated in order to maintain enough good fats, not oxidated, you have a spike of the concentration of omega in your blood. And those RBCs who are produced in that period, their cell membrane is with a good ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 and a good level of omega-3 inside the RBCs. And later on you will get the information why it's important to have this ratio. And each second, 2 million are produced, 2 million are out, what we talked about, yes? And they are maintained for 120 days. So we took the fish, our RBCs are produced, they're staying for 120 days, not for 1 second, 120 days, but each second they are gone, okay? So, and then the idea is that after 120 days, you basically will fill all of your red blood cells with the good cell membranes made of the good enough concentration of fatty acid. And if you look at the blood plasma, you will always have the same situation. Nearly for 7 days you can have this trace of omega-3 or the fatty fish you eat. But for red blood cells, if you analyze them, you will have steady growth of the concentration of the red blood cells who has a good omega-3 index or omega-6 omega-3 ratio, and the bad, which is produced without intake of fatty fish or other. So let's go further on. I already talked, so 120 days from red blood cells, and I would say 7 days, up to 7 days when you take for plasma. That's why this method is really good, because we will not see what you have done last week in your birthday or your party, how you behave with yourself. Rather than we will look how you lived for the last 4 months. And this is much stable answer rather than, I had a party yesterday, because I hear a lot of people telling, sorry, I cannot do the test today because yesterday I had a party. No, but how you behave yourself 4 months? Oh, it's also probably not so well. The party was not only yesterday, the party was also a couple of months probably, yes? So this is really important to understand this principle. When you understand, then you know the overall possibilities of that person, what he can do. So if you do the first test and then you start changing your lifestyle, you have an intake of fatty fish, or you have an intake of good quality with the good antioxidants, omega-3s, after 120 days with a good concentration, after 120 days, if you do the second test, it should show that you are in the good levels of omega-6, omega-3 ratio, omega-3 index, and that will lead you long-term, and about that, Emily Gislavik will talk to the much better health perspective in the future. And if you ask any oncologist, what is the possibility of having statistically cancer, they will say probably 10%, your genetics depends on that, and 90%, 10% on genetics, and 90% is your behavior of yourself. So your lifestyle and so on. So in my opinion, for even if you read Scientific American, it's a really respected journal, they tell that the chronic inflammation levels in your body can lead you to a lot of chronic or lifestyle diseases, and if you reduce with certain or lifestyle change or supplementation the omega-6 omega-3 ratio, definitely you will guard yourself from a lot of problems in the future. And this test helps you to understand where you are right now and what you can and if you change lifestyle, where you arrive, so up to 120 days. But the very important thing is to understand that people sometimes tell, okay, but I'm liking it anyway, I'll take it and I will be okay. And the problem is that for different persons, you have different genetics, different absorbability of different absorbance of omega-3 through organs, and you can have even the same amount of fish or the same amount of supplements, but person A and person B will have different results, even though they will take based on their weight and so on. And so it's really important not to only understand that you have to do the first test in order to know your situation, but also after 4 months, because you know that RBCs, how many months are valid RBCs in your body? 4 months, 120 days, yeah? So we had to teach something. RBCs will be in order, but for some people, not. So we call that slow responders or non-responders. So for you, it's really important to understand in which group you are. You are a person who 95% of the people, they will be in the good ratio if they take appropriate amount of omega-3s with the antioxidants in the good values. But if you check yourself and you are not in the good values, so you have to adjust to increase the dosage or to change to another one and so on. So this is main concept. And what I just introduced to you, the concept, in my opinion, which will prevail in the future, and we are just starting. And the name of this concept is really simple, but at the same time, look how it sounds. It's a test-based nutrition. So we are not guessing anymore what you need, and we are testing what you need in order to maintain your long-term health. And if you add to that, you can add test-based. If what you take has a pharmaceutical effect on your body, so let's say you lower your chronic inflammation and you ask any doctor, you can ask any doctor, what will happen with your body if you will lower chronic inflammation in your body? Every doctor will tell you that most of the probably symptoms of different itis, arthritis, gastritis, and so on, will disappear or they will reduce. So this is the way, probably even to call it even better. Sometimes in the doctor's conference, okay, I say it's test-based pharmaceutical nutrition. Even the pharmaceutical doesn't sound really well, but this is the nutrition or the food which gives you pharmaceutical effect on your body, and you can test it before and after. So it's like really new way of thinking in the medical society, that you can actually measure what is effect of the food you have on your body based on before and after. Okay, so this is not new, but right now it's already in the field. I mean that we are testing people, we are doing them, and so on. So a bit for geeks information. So what we are testing and what kind of information you are getting. We're testing 11 fatty acid, palmitic, stearic, and omega-9, but omega-6 and omega-3, and the most important probably for you to understand is AA, arachidonic acid, and EPA and DHA, is eicosapentaenoic and docosahexaenoic acid. They are the most important. Omega-6, let's say it's pro-inflammatory, and omega-3 is anti-inflammatory fatty acids, and both are important for our life, but omega-6s we are getting way too much compared to omega-3s, and that's where I'll talk a bit deeper about how the test analysis is performed and what kind of answers you are getting. So when that kind of card arrives to the lab, what we have to do, first, the lab checks if the blood is enough for analysis. So please, if you do the test today or tomorrow or during the month or you are doing already, keep in mind that at least one full blood spot is important. So the automated machines are checking, and just for you to understand, they're checking if it's enough blood. If it's not enough blood, the card goes to the side, and then the lab person, which is human, taking care of this card. So it's not automated anymore. And sometimes, if you send that kind of card, it can be, let's say, delayed. It will be analyzed, but it will be delayed. I will show you why it will be analyzed, but it will be delayed because of humans will take care of it. So instead of getting the results in 2 weeks, you can get probably in 3 weeks or 4 weeks sometimes. But as I said, since it's preserved quite well in this paper, it's for your result, this will not matter. So that kind of letters arrived to Vita's lab, and this is our great friend Hamilton machine, and they are, as I said, checking everything with a robotic eye, how those cards are performed, and what is done by this machine. They are cutting the small, if you see it right here, the small amount of paper automatically to the whales, the small bottles of whales. And each whale is automatically connected with a barcode on the card. So it's a fully automated process. That's why they can do tens of thousands of tests weekly with having the consistency of the results and consistency of the workflow. Then it goes directly into talking about, if we talk about the fat gas analysis, into gas chromatography, and based on the, I will not go deeper into the gas GCMLS, gas chromatography biochemistry, but basically based on the weight of molecule, this gas chromatographer outputs the different weight molecules at the end of so-called not line but pipe, so very thin pipe, and then we are collecting them peaks of each, and it looks like that, like Lego. We have in one place, yes, and then we collect. So let's say we have 25 that kind of Legos, then 35 that kind of, and we get in the computer we get that kind of view, yes. And then, based on those peaks which are going out from this pipe, we have such a peaks, yes? And then we know that based on the molecular weight, this is, let's say, EPA, eicosapentaenoic, and this is arachidonic acid, omega-6 and omega-3, and this is the DHA. And then we see we look to omega-6 to omega-3 ratio and not the overall amount, and that's why we can have the analysis even from the very small amount of blood. We'll have a ratio. This is 3:1, this is 3:1, and this is 3:1, no matter how many blood we have. But in this case, as I said, most probably this will be done manually by the human. In this case, faster by the robot. So when you do your test, please keep in mind that you have to provide enough blood, and very good exercise before giving the blood is not doing like that, but using the physics, and physics is like that. Do like that 10 times, and the blood will flow to your hand really fast. Okay, also very important, if you will not provide any blood, there will be no result, believe me. So this is, let's say, no blood and some blood. And also, if you will have some fats on your hands before, so most probably you will have also some result, but it will be not what you want. It will be fats which are not in your blood. So let's say cream is not needed. So I know that a lot of people using a lot of cream, especially women, for hands. So before you do the test, it's really important to wash your hands and to have it clean, yeah, and with a hot water, because that goes from your hands with the hot water very effectively. So it's a wellness test, fatty acid test. It's a wellness test. It's not for prediction of any disease, but it gives you perspective of what kind of future you can have with your health. So it's really important, in my opinion. If we talk, let's say, I don't know if Emily will talk about that, but in Australia is already obligatory or very, very recommended for every woman who is pregnant to take this omega-6, omega-3 ratio and omega-3 index test. Because based on that, you can predict, will you have any problems with the child or not already now. So in my opinion, if you look for a prevention right now, today, you shall do for yourself, for your family, and for all surrounding people, if you care about their health, this test. And then decide what you do. First, make the test, and then decide what you do. Shall you change the lifestyle, or shall you input some good quality supplements, or you will go to some Mediterranean Sea, fish the fish, and eat a lot of vegetables and fish 3 times per day, or you move to Japan. I made a lot of tests in Japan. They have a ratio of 3:1, 5:1. It's an older generation. Like if you're 50 plus, most probably you'll have around 3:1, 5:1. But if I've done to some younger generation, which are eating not so often the fish, they have the same situation like in Europe, 10:1, 15:1, and so on. So this is crucially important to understand. It's a wellness test. Sometimes people tell me, but if I'll do and the test is bad, so what shall I do? I'm afraid of doing this. But the good thing is that 99% of the people can get back into good balance and maintain this good balance in order to maintain their good health. So this is, in my opinion, very good. And I already said, not only I'm telling, but studies tell that this fatty acid profile and omega-6, omega-3 ratio is related with your good health. And also, last but not least, it's in those fats, it's in every cell. You name it, hair, body, heart, everywhere. So since it's everywhere, it's very crucial, important. Some advices already told. Air dry, 10 minutes it's not obligatory because right now in the test we have a really good absorbent and drying medium, very good, so you can put the card immediately. This is simple. And the recommendation is to ship the same day or to hold in the fridge and to register the test immediately in the site where it comes from. Because if we talk particularly about the fatty acid analysis, it is, let's say, if you send it today and you register the test today, it is going to the lab for 1 week, and then we are analyzing it, so let's say in 10 days. So during the 10 days, the deterioration of the fats happened, but we adjust the deterioration to the registration date. So let's say if during the 45 days we have deterioration of 25% of the fats, so if it's 10 days gone, so we say that it will be probably 8% deterioration or something like that. And then we adjust that and we present for you result based on when you registered. So if you haven't registered it and you didn't send, it's better to have it in the fridge and then to send out. You had a more accurate result. Okay? Then quality analysis is assured. So every 140 samples we have before, in the middle, and after the quality checking. So As I said, the VITAS is top notch, and there is no other lab in the world, in my knowledge, which has a full automation and such a scalability. And we can probably check each and every one person in Slovenia in a couple of months, if you will decide to do so, because we are here to decide, to make decisions what we do with this, because it's not only I'm talking there, it's your choice what you will do with this. You will just listen and do nothing, or you will decide, no, I will make something out of it. And we just made 1 million tests, and I'm really happy that we're starting big also in Slovenia. Thank you very much for listening to that. Hope you like it. Probably some technical information, but now you know. I think you are right now 0.1% in all Europe of the people who knows very, very a lot about this great technology, and I'm happy that we did that together. Thank you very much.